Hello friend, it's Mark out on the back 40. In this episode, I thought I'd just show you the logistical part of keeping the water holes filled up on the property. So about 20 years ago, I planted a bunch of trees out on the property. And if you've been watching this channel at all, you know I have sandy soil. In the first 1,000 that I planted, I bet only 50 of them made it. It was a dry summer, and they all just died. It just dried up. So the next year, I decided, you know what, I'll water them. And I don't know how, but I'll get to it. But anyways, what I did is I made a little watering canister out of a 55-gallon plastic drum. And so what I did at the time, and this is just an option. Nowadays, they have these way bigger cages that I think you can, pick up with a forklift and the forks on your tractor or something and fill them up way bigger, or put in the back of your truck and drive up to it. So those are probably easier if you have the logistics for taking care of that. But I already had this sitting around, so this is just what I use. 55-gallon plastic drum. It's got two openings in it, you can see here. The top one is just to let air in and out. This one right here, I use this to control it. And all I did is I drilled a 1/2-inch hole, I think, or maybe a 5/8 hole, something like that. And then this plastic was soft enough that I could just screw the spigot into it. So there's nothing fancy about it. It's just the softness of this allowed me to screw it in, and it keeps it from leaking. And then you'll see here in a second, now all I do is I throw it on the tractor. I have to adjust these forks closer, but I set it on the tractor and then just drive up to it, open the spigot, and off it goes. All right, got it loaded on the tractor now. So you just had to move the forks a little bit closer together to support it. And now just pop this cap off right here, jam the hose in there, and fill her up. It takes about 10 minutes. All right, I just pulled up to the first tub, and it is time to start filling her up. So it's pretty simple. Just drop the hose in, open up the spigot, and open this up for a little bit of air. Off she goes. And then you get to go look around your spot for a while. There you go. So one of the things I saw when I pulled up here, unfortunately, is the mock scrape that I had set up here, right up there. I don't know if you can see the cable right here coming down, but it fell down. So what I had was, across these two trees right here, I had put a tie-down strap, like the ratchet tie-down strap. Put a couple leg bolts in, tie strap, tightened it up real good, and then hung the licking branch right where I wanted it. And that worked good for, I think, about 2 years now. And the strap, the wind just kept going, wearing on a spot, the sun, the weather, strap broke. So I got to figure out a way to put that back up. Maybe something that's more permanent somehow. But I really like the spot. I shot a really nice buck from this spot. I mean, this setup was perfect. The water hole, the licking branch, the food plot, the blind over here. I mean, it was great. So maybe go watch that video. But so I got to figure out how to set this all back up again now. Well, I thought while I'm here filling this up, I'll talk a little bit about the water hole and the setup. So the water holes, I have 2 of these on the property, just like this. So this tub, I bought this tub from Farm and Fleet, Tractor and Country, whatever your local farm supply store is. I think it's 110 or 120 gallons. I think it cost me about $65, but again, that's a few years ago, so that's probably more now after the pandemic. But anyways, and I buried it about halfway into the ground. I know some people say you got to do it all the way or it scares them away, but I don't see where that's been a problem at all. So I put it about halfway in the ground, mainly just so deer can reach their noses down into it. Always got to put this, what they call, I think, a game stick in there. Otherwise, it'll fill up with frogs and rodents. So you always got to have a little stick in there so stuff can get out, right? And then what I did is I put it about, there's my blind over there. It's about, that's probably, I think, 17 or 18 yards away to right here. And then what I had, like I said earlier in the video, right here, I mean, you can see the strap kind of going down right there. But it was going across these 2 trees right here. And then right down about here, hanging right where about the tractor is, was this vine that had been used for a long time. Yeah, right here. See this vine? I mean, that was hooked to the strap here, and this is probably a terrible video. It's not going very well, is it? And then it would dangle, and the deer for a couple years were putting their stink on it. So I want to keep using this vine, so I'm going to figure out a way to do it, because I figure the end of this is probably like gold. I mean, it's already got tons and tons of deer scent on it, and I want to keep that way. So but the setup was this. I mean, there's the blind. I used the water hole here. I had the licking branch over it, and then I'll turn slow here so I don't hopefully get you sick. And then right out there is a food plot that I do a lot of the experiments in the other videos that I'm talking about. The food plot is probably 50 yards away from the blind. And what I want to do here is create a pattern. It's if you were way back in the trees way back there, that's actually a pond. So I don't do water holes because I'm trying to water the deer. I mean, they got water everywhere. I have 2 ponds on this 40 acres. If you go to the north here a little bit, there's a big creek going through there. That's only maybe 400 or 500 yards north of my property line. So there's water around. But what this does is they bed over in here, and then when they get up, it's easier for them to walk right over here and get a nice little convenient drink of water in a safe spot right here. And then maybe hit the licking branch that happens to be right here too, because then they can see who's been here and what's going on. And then they can, while it's still light out, they can meander out to the food plot. Again, a nice concealed food plot. They're not out in the open. They feel comfortable and safe there, and then they kind of wait for dark to wander to the north, the east, or the west right here. I don't know if you can see right through there. There's a field right there, farm field. And then they can go out into the open fields then and expose themselves, but it'll be closer to dark. So that gives me a chance in here to hopefully have them moving around and give me a shot at something before it gets dark. And I was successful with that a couple of times here last year. So that's kind of how that whole setup works, and that's why I do water holes. And the other one is just as successful. And then what I do, I don't know if you can see right there is a cutty back game camera right there. So then I get pictures of this all the time too, see what's cruising through here. And if I got a nice buck cruising through here, then I know it's time to sit in the blind. So as far as the water hole goes, this is the second time I filled it up this year, and you saw it was about half down. I probably fill it twice. It depends on the year. Last year, it rained enough that I don't think I filled it once, not one time. But this year, it's weird because we've had good rain here, but I'm still filling it up. So maybe the deer are just, I think this is the 3rd year it's been here. So the deer are getting used to it being here, and they come here all the time, and maybe there's just more deer hitting it more frequently and draining it down. So we'll see what the other one looks like too. Okay, I'm at our second water hole. Again, same thing, same tub, buried halfway. I don't think it scares deer like some people think it does. I've had pictures of plenty of big bucks right by this thing. So what we've got here is, this is old pine trees on both sides. This lane right here was a fire break or fire lane, whatever they called it. To the right there is an area I've been working on. It's like basically our sanctuary. So it's really thick. Bucks bed back in there, does bed back in there. If you go to the left here, there's one more row here about 20 yards wide, and then an open field. And so this is kind of the setup here. So they bed back there, they come down here, they stretch, do their thing. There's clover planted along in here too. So they nibble, they come, hit the water here, and then from this water, right behind there is one of the food plots that we have. And that's a nice food plot. And then they go in there. And my blind for this is right there. So from here, it's about 30 yards. It's probably hard to tell in the video, but it's about 30 yards to here. And the same setup as at the other one. Right there, you can see I've got the string across there, the tie strap, and then there's the string right there with the licking branch hanging right here. And again, it's got a couple years on it. Lots and lots of good smells on there, so I want to leave that there as long as I can. So I'll wait, I guess, until this one falls too, and then repair it. But I'm going to go ahead and fill this one up. This one is not nearly as empty as the other one, and I do know that the other one gets way more traffic, like at least twice as much traffic every day as this one. But I don't have a camera on this one, so I got to get a camera set up. We'll do that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and fill it up with some water. If you're doing water holes, you're filling them this way, you're going to have to remember back to high school physics. It's actually going to come into use. All that stuff the teacher told you all that time is actually finally going to come into use. Because you got to make sure, because I forgot this, that's why I'm doing this. I forgot to open this up. I can figure out, why is water not coming out? I forgot I got to open the air vent. So open the air vent, and then the hose has to be below here, right? It's like the siphon thing. So I don't know why. I'm just goofy. I thought that was kind of funny. That the crap the teachers taught you that you never thought you'd use, well, I guess you kind of actually had to use it to get the water going, to fill the water hole up, to get the pattern going, to shoot the nice buck this fall. You didn't know that physics class was going to do that for you, did you?